advice, just a little DD to help you think twice. We hold for each other, eyes on the prize. The new floor's 200,000 times 5. I joke, I kid, no, I don't know a damn thing. I'm as simple as Bubba trying to sell some damn shrimp. Can't spell IQ, can't even count to 10. And I eat crayons every day with my friends. I think about Kenny in his ivory tower, shaking in his lily boots as the apes overpower. Must suck to lose to monkeys, so dumb. But you made your bed and you got nowhere to run. I'd love to be a fly on the wall when he makes the prize fall. And he watching as we keep buying more. You forgot we on the float, blind 2 hours old. Lie, stop breaking the law, asshole. Show us the fucking money. It's time to lay it on me. Cause what's mine is mine. Is ours, this shit belongs to the economy. No need to see them binges. We hungry for them tendies. Give us this day our daily bread. Show us the fucking money. Yeah, crayon eating Lambo loving smooth brain, stupid ass, throwing all my money at the streets like a quarterback. FUD don't mean a thing. Water up for ducks, please. Cause what's mine is mine. Is ours. This shit belongs to the economy. No need to see them binges. We hungry for them tendies. Give us this day our daily bread. Show us the fucking money.
Well, hello. You know, we're not even done with the songs, and we're already having issues with YouTube today. Just so you know, we have that backup on Rumble. We have that backup on Twitch. Shout out to the Rumble fam. Shout out to the Twitch fam, because it's clearly an issue hyper specific to YouTube and nothing else. Nothing else. Like, it's fine on Twitch. It's fine on Rumble. It's just YouTube is having YouTube problems. But we're not going to let that get us down today, because it looks like it's a nice green day in the market from the highest level. Look at the gap up in the S&P 500. We closed at 458.80, gapping up to 464. The Q's also gapping up 386 to 393. The Russell gapping up from 219 to 222. We're seeing some nice gap ups. Love it. But before we get into the specifics of the technicals of what we should and shouldn't be watching, let me give you a quick overview to better set us all up for the day. 5 things to know before the stock market opens on today, Tuesday, December 7th. As I titled it, really feels like a nice turnaround Tuesday type of a vibe. Wall Street set to continue rally as unicorns fears reside, and that's exactly what's doing. I was showing you all those gap ups. That's awesome. But check this out. Yesterday, Morgan Stanley, an analyst there, actually said that the greatest fear right now to the stocks is actually not even this variant anymore, because of how much the fears have subsided. It's actually the Fed policy relating to tapering. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It seems like the market is pretty much over this whole unicorn thing. This is kind of interesting just to see, like, they're using the Dow, which I've said multiple times, I don't think is the best, measurement stick for the overall market. But as you can see, on average, things are trending in the right way. Instead of all these losses, like, we're actually getting more gains and larger gains. So it's, like I said, it seems like we're kind of shaking off the whole unicorn thing. Longest serving major airline CEO announces retirement. So this guy right here, he is retiring from American Airlines. Doug Parker. So there might be some movement in AAL today. That is the ticker for American Airlines. But I just want it on record that out of all airlines, American is by far my least favorite stock to be involved in. It's just their debt situation is not a good one. Intel to make Mobileye self-driving car unit public next year. So I wanted to bring this up just because we see so many different companies now getting into this world of not only EV but also autonomous vehicles. Obviously something's going on when you have so many different companies somehow dealing with it one way or another. Seems pretty obvious that that's kind of where our technology is heading, our culture is heading, our society is heading. So maybe something to pay attention to with Intel, just another strong semiconductor such as AMD or NVIDIA. A lot of people know who Intel is. Tesla to fix some autopilot cameras, Musk criticizes Biden bill. So with their autopilot cameras, this came out yesterday that they had to recall some just to fix these cameras. On top of that, though, a handful of days ago, Tesla, similar to Lucid, announced an SEC probe. So that's why Tesla's been a little bit under pressure lately. But as of now, it's actually gapping up pretty nicely. But the other thing I wanted to bring up here, of course, we could talk about the Biden bill, said it might be better if President Joe Biden's $1.75 trillion social spending bill, which includes incentives to buy EVs, doesn't become law. The bill has cleared the House, but not the Senate. Of course, Tesla has been helped by government subsidies for quite a while. That's actually why Tesla is actually profitable. But another Elon-related thing. Elon Musk said Neuralink hopes to start implanting its brain chips in humans 2022 later than he anticipated, which is nuts. Sorry. I have a itch in my throat. Folks, this is nuts. We are days, months, weeks. We are within spitting distance of people getting chips implanted into their brain. That's wild. That is so incredibly wild. I'm kind of curious. If offered to you to be a guinea pig, would you do this? Matt's got Rona. No, I got tested. I don't have that. I just have a stupid cold. Nope. A lot of people are saying no. Well, a few yeses. I don't know if I personally would be the first one to sign up for this. Also, Mucinex apparently just doesn't work. Let's get that on the record as well. Instagram announces teen safety updates ahead of hearing. Facebook/Instagram, or I guess what all now called Meta. Problems. The data coming out of what particularly Instagram is doing, but also some other related things, is not good. It is not good whatsoever. The psychological implications of platforms like this, the data related to it, is astoundingly bad. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have to answer some very serious questions. So I'm hoping that, I know it's probably a lot to wish for, but I'm hoping that at a certain point, they maybe grow like morality overnight and protect the world's youth a little bit better, because the data, it's very, very disheartening to read some of the increases in anxiety, depression for teenagers, particularly teen girls. It's just spiking through the roof over decades and decades of data that they have. With the spike related to Instagram, it's bad. It's very, very bad. Yeah, they sorry. I'm trying to power through this for all of you because I don't know, I'm addicted to the stock market. So on the political front, a couple of things I want to talk about. Biden to warn Putin of economic plan if he invades the Ukraine. This is kind of interesting. So this is happening today. Both President Biden and President Putin will be having a chat today, and it will be related to Ukraine. So if you're like me and you failed geography class, Ukraine is just to the southwest of Russia. Culturally, there seems to be a decent amount of overlap. They also, quite a bit of people in Ukraine know how to speak Russian. So there are some overlaps there. And that kind of comes into play to my understanding of why they're interested in invading it, beyond the fact that they are rich in resources such as natural gas. There is some cultural overlap, and people are just trying to point out that, yeah, no, Putin wants to like expand his reach and kind of almost like this their way of life, their culture, kind of more of a united front in like Eurasia, that type of a vibe. I'm not a political expert by any means. This is worthwhile to look into. And the reason I'm bringing it up to you is because like what Biden's apparently going to threat is disconnecting Russia from like the global financial system, which I don't really know how he would pull that off. But this is strongly going to relate of if there becomes like a pissing match of sorts, could have a strong impact on oil. We know recently oil's been going crazy. Most recently, the U.S. and some of its allies did an literally never seen before. It was actually pretty crazy that so many different nations came together to do it. But they released oil from their own reserves, brought oil back down. Oil a little bit higher now. It came down from like 83 to about 67. Now we're back up at 71. But depending on this goes, Russia is a pretty serious power, and we don't want it to spiral into another like absurd pissing match by any means. We hope that it just gets resolved. A different thing on the political front, this instead of Russia, this is the U.S. versus China. U.S. plans diplomatic boycott of Beijing Games, but the athletes are still going. So basically, officials are not going, and apparently New Zealand is doing this, and I think the Netherlands is also strongly considering this, but a couple other countries, including the U.S., planning on not going in official capacity, but all athletes, I guess, can still go and compete and do what they want. I looked into this to see if this has happened before. The most recent time that this has happened was back in 1980, when the U.S. actually completely did not go. They didn't let anyone go, including athletes, to the Moscow Summer Games. And this was right after the Soviets invaded Afghanistan. So this isn't like the first time something like this has happened. And it actually in 1980 was a bit more serious of when we've seen this. So I thought that was just a little bit of history for all of you. Overall, things are starting to look green. I'm excited about it for sure. I don't know why Lucid is up here. Let's get up some Bitcoin. Bitcoin finally back above 50,000. So we're seeing crypto, futures, and equities all kind of having a pretty solid day thus far before that bell goes ding, ding, ding. And overall, it's related to the fears that were surrounding the unicorn variant are now, people are getting over that. So I like it. Obviously, it looks like people who got in on the dip of crypto here, if they were very, very quick, got some nice fills on that. So that's exciting. I personally was not fortunate enough to do that, but I hope at least some of you listening in here were able to buy that dip and get a nice one. What else do I have for you? Speaking of the unicorn variant, if you're in New York City, so the mayor de Blasio just passed a rule that all private sector workers also have to get the vaccination. This has to be done by December 27th, but that's weird because he's done in January, like the start of January. De Blasio's out, to my understanding. I'm not in New York right now, so maybe someone in New York can let me know. But I don't know how that would really be enforced when the mayor who's doing it, the time to do it is the 27th, but then he's done like January 1st or January 2nd. So I don't know how it would be enforced, or I don't know. I have a feeling this is more of something that's not going to stick. Like, I just don't think that's going to like actually happen there. Let's might as well go down all this entire list of like little interesting things. So there was a congressional member, Devin something or other, can't read my own writing, who is actually now quitting Congress to become the CEO of previous President Trump's DWAC, the Truth Media social company. That's a little interesting. And then yesterday we got the announcement that Jack in the Box bought Del Taco for $575 million. Once again, Jack in the Box bought Del Taco $575. Was it Devin Nunes? How do you pronounce it? Nuns. Anyway, he's quitting Congress to become the CEO of DWAC. All right, let me get that down. How much time do we have? 9:20. Let me get some of your questions out of the way. How dare they buy Del Taco? Dedicated to the OG Apes. Getting the shirt signed by Adam Aaron was for the OG Apes. Jesus Space Goat or Jesus Space Goat. I think any of those names fly. Shout out. That's so cool. I was looking at your picture of meeting up with Adam Aaron. That's awesome. Hey, bud, been almost a year, up 4,100% since thanks to you. Thinking about PTPI. Mucinex stock just dumped. How much will it smell? What? Nord, interesting question. Oh, yeah, sure, you'll talk about Russia and China when your super secret boyfriend Let's Go Brandon brings it up. Let's Go Brandon brings it up? As in, what, Trump bring it up? I mean, this was just news of the day. I mean, we have Biden meeting with the president of Russia today, and then the Olympics, that whole thing. That's kind of weird, though, right? Like, am I missing something? Like, is it that big of a deal when we don't send officials? Like, does anyone watch the Olympics be like, oh, look at that country. They sent their officials. Like, we watch it for the games. Like, I don't really get what that means. I don't get it at all. So the reason for the boycott is basically a stance against China's crackdown on, I guess, what's the best way to put it? Political dissidents and various ethnic minority groups. It's a stance against China for doing that. China's like severe crackdown. But like, what kind of stance is that? To just be like, we're not going to send officials, but literally we're going to send our entire group to still compete. Like, if you're going to stand up for human rights, don't you stand up? Like, don't you take a little bit of a stronger stance? Maybe I don't know. Maybe I have a cold fog and maybe I'm not fully understanding the situation. But like, if the premise of doing this is for human rights, like, who cares if an official isn't there? Like, at all? Like, has anyone ever been like, oh, but like, the president isn't there? Like, no one gives a shit about that stuff, about the officials going. Because the athletes have trained for 4 years, I feel super bad for the athletes. That's a tough situation to be at that caliber. Oh, someone brought up a good point. Because it's like far more important with China to have the officials there. That's a good point. I could see that. Of like, to us, we care about the games, but to them, you have all the whining and dining in one spot of all the world's politicians. I get that. I could get on board with that one. There's a tennis player missing in China. Yeah, so I heard about that as well. I was actually reading that story. That was another crazy story. Some female tennis player that has not apparently been seen in quite a while. Crazy stuff. The world's going bonkers, folks. I guess it's always going bonkers, but it's just we now have more reporting on it. More reporting on it. You can't officially open the Olympic Games without officials. So does that mean that this becomes an unofficial like Olympics? Like, will this go down in the history book with like an asterisk next to it of like, like, doesn't really count? Is that like what that means to not have an official there? I'm looking for someone who has not a lot of Olympic-based knowledge. A fourth pound of turmeric, fish ginger, 4 green apples, 6 lemons. Turmeric juice. Take a shot every morning. We'll feel better soon. Turmeric, ginger, green apples, and lemons. I probably do need that. Don't have a Twitter, so can you tweet the idea to Adam Aaron for Apes t-shirts with his signature on them at AMC theaters for sale to build extra sales? I don't know if I have that type of sway. I could pitch it as an idea, but I don't know. I feel like Adam Aaron might just be signing shirts all day then. Hey, new guy, I could pitch it. I don't know if it'll lead to anything, but I think that's a pretty creative idea. How many of you would you buy like an AMC Ape t-shirt that is particularly signed by Adam Aaron, the silverback himself? I'm curious. First couple things I'm seeing are no. Next couple things I'm seeing are yes. Mixed crowd, mixed audience on it. Mixed audience. All right, I'm going to go get a throat lozenge before the bell goes ding, ding, ding. Here, enjoy this song. I'll be back in a second.
Show us the fucking money.
We already played that one.
Going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. One day, very soon, gonna wake up on the moon. Brand new yacht and a McDonald's in my living room. Bright yellow Lamborghini, 50-meter swimming pool. Champagne every day, ape fan, what you do? Wanna hang, wanna chill? Oh, you got a mansion too? Oh, that's right, held on tight, jack titties every night. We was in way back when they tried to chop it down to 10. And she couldn't comprehend, ace was strong until the end. Now let's retell it, Citadel they be sweating. Had enough of these felons, but the apes we rebelling. Cause we never be selling, till we sent it to heaven. Now we be out here yelling, hey screw you Kenny. Bought my wife a minivan to share with the boyfriend. But I pull up in the Benz, plate saying olive crayons. Going on an airplane, don't think we'll be back again. Celebrating every day like it's your birthday. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. Today's expectation, probably more manipulation. FUD, a creation of a crooked operation. Bought more while it was low, got more dips than Trader Joe's. Oh, you thought that we'd let go? What the hell you take us for? Holla if you spend your last dollar on bananas while living in squalor. We don't claim to be scholars, we the smooth brain dummies, and we never stood taller. Yeah, we do this for love and we do this for honor. Apollo 11 ain't got nothing on us. We the planet of the apes and in MOAS we trust. MOASS, oh hell yes. Gonna send it into space, go fire up the jets. Done my DD, call me Elton John, Rocket Man. This is the way, gonna be gorillionaires. Ground control to Major Tom, we about to have liftoff. Call us Neil H. Strong, gonna keep holding on. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon.
Ding, 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 ding. The market is open. Let's get after it. Moments ago, mere moments ago, I have 2 bags of throat lozenges. One of them happens to be my favorite. The other one is super all right. And the one that was my favorite, I had one left. I ran upstairs just now, just moments ago. I ran upstairs and I grabbed that one and I opened it. But because I was worried about getting back here as quickly as I possibly could, I opened it up. I opened the little package with such ferocity that it rocket shipped out of my hand into the sink. And not just like in the sink, but perfectly into like the hole, like the garbage disposal hole. So I'm taking that as a sign that I wasn't supposed to eat that. So now I'm eating my subpar throat healing. So that's life. None of you have asked me this, but my completely real girlfriend and all my family members have. So I figure I might as well share this. They're all like, go to urgent care, get like a antibiotic, blah, blah, blah. I've taken so many goddamn COVID tests. I know it's not COVID. It's just a stupid cold because my body is like, I guess, fighting against me. My body's not on my side. So my organs are failing and they're having a weak immune system. And I don't know. It's a personal thing. My organs versus my brain versus all my other organs. Big fight. Kind of like that whole vibe of like a teenage kid in your house. Like no matter what's going on, you're just going to fight. That type of a deal. So anyway, they're like, go to urgent care. I was like, all right, whatever, fine. Everyone's like on my ass about it. Or go to urgent care. You shouldn't be sick this long. I was like, yeah, I get it. Whatever. It's a cold. Like, let's go over it. And then I was sitting there. I was like, all right, I'll go to urgent care. Like, not a big deal. And I called up urgent care and I gave them my health insurance. And they're like, sure, this is expired. I was like, what do you mean it's expired? And they're like, yeah, you don't have health insurance. I was like, I do have health insurance. Trust me. The fact that $600 per month is taken out of my private, like my bank account for my health insurance, I know I've been paying it, so I definitely have health insurance. And they're like, no, you don't. It expired on November 30th. And I was like, what do you mean it expired on November 30th? And they're like, we don't know, but you have to call your person. I was like, okay, I'll call my person. So in the U.S., you have this option to do COBRA. So basically, at my previous job, I had job health insurance. And then I didn't know what the hell was going on in the world of health insurance because it's stupid. So I just chose to extend it through a process called COBRA. Like, so basically, I took my previous health insurance and I just said, give me that. And you could do it for about 18 more months and you pay out the nose for it. So I had quit my job in February and I continued my corporate like coverage. And my plan was to do it for 1.5 years because I don't want to figure out health insurance because it's the stupidest thing in the entire goddamn world that it's so complicated to get like a reasonable plan. So anyway, I thought I was covered for 18 months and they've been taking out $616 from my bank account every single month. I was like, oh, this sucks, but whatever. And then I was like, well, why did you stop? Like, why did you stop my health insurance, but you're still taking my money? Like, what's going on? Like, I don't get that. And they're like, well, you see, Mr. Coors. And as soon as I hear, well, you see, Mr. Coors, I was like, oh, this is going to go downhill. This is going to go downhill quickly. You're not going to maintain your composure. I'm not going to maintain my composure. No composure is going to be maintained. It's a composureless phone call. I was like, what's up? And they're like, yeah, you were supposed to elect for your new shit by November 30th and you didn't, so you don't have it anymore. I was like, but I didn't know I had to. And they're like, yeah, but your company should have told you. I was like, but I don't work at that company. And they're like, well, we mailed you something. I was like, you haven't mailed me shit. So it's like this whole debacle, and I don't know if I'm insured or not. I don't get it. It'd probably be easier for me at this point to not do COBRA and just buy a different insurance. What's weird about it in America, I legitimately don't even know where I would buy health insurance. So previously on my corporate level, I had insurance, whatever, let's call it ABC, and I liked it. Actually, no, this is positive. Is it that positive? Okay, I probably shouldn't tell you the name of my insurer. Anyway, I had insurance through company ABC, and I called them, and I was like, hey, just want you to know I quit my job, but I would love to buy some like private health insurance. Like, what are your personal options? And the lady, like, she didn't actually laugh at me, but it felt like she laughed at me. And she's like, we don't do that. I was like, what do you mean you don't do that? She's like, oh, we only do corporate insurance. I was like, well, what are my options for like private insurance? She's like, well, not much. I was like, so where do all people who don't work in corporate America get their insurance? Why am I asking this at 27? Like, I don't understand it. Like, that's a very serious question. It's like, where the fuck do I just go buy health insurance? Like, why, as an able-bodied male at 27, am I paying over $7,000 a year in health insurance, and then I don't have it, and I don't even know where to get it, and I still have a deductible? Folks, I pay $616 a month, and I still have a $2,000 deductible. So if you do all that math out, that's like $9,200. Like, it's so stupid. It's so frustratingly stupid. So I'll keep you up to date on how my health insurance debacle. I had to write a letter. I was like, I, Matthew Kors, did not receive my elections. Please resend me my elections so I can become insured. I don't know if this is true, but someone told me that if you're not insured, you get a fine for not being insured. Is that real? Can anyone confirm or deny that? I don't want to be here spreading false information. If you're not, do you seriously get fined? Some people saying yes, some people saying no. All right, sounds like this is something I should probably look up myself. No longer true. So it was true and now it's not true. Imagine that. Imagine being in such a bad situation that you cannot afford health insurance. And then our government comes in and you're like, no, seriously, like my life sucks. Like I wish I could have health insurance. And they're like, too bad, dickhead. And they like kick your teeth in and take your money even more. Like, you shouldn't be so poor. That's a crazy. Who pitched that? Seriously. Like, who on this planet was like, you know what we should do to these people who can't afford health insurance? And someone who looked at him, they're like, we should fine them. Like, are you serious? Are you serious, Greg? And he's like, yeah, I think we should fine them. Like, how does that even become like a legitimate idea? No less. Like, actually got passed for some, even if it was a law for a day. I'm very happy that apparently it's not a law, and apparently I'm not going to get fined now. But like, just conceptually, who pitched that idea? You're gonna get fined. That doesn't make sense to me. That's like a poor person fine. Like, you're so poor we have to fine you. Healthcare.gov. Matt, Cobra is usually double your usual rate. You should look up an insurance broker. They are free and they get paid to sign you up. So I need an insurance broker. If any of you in here identify as an insurance broker, you should DM me. Move to the UK. Those fees are mental. I just want to live on an island by myself. You know? Just kick back. Seems like this has become absurdly political. I feel bad for the mods. This one's on me. But isn't that kind of insane? Like, seriously, folks, we're thinking about it. Why is health insurance and paying or not paying, or the difficulty of finding it or getting fined or not, why is that a political thing? Don't you think, as like the world's preeminent power, don't you think that like we should have had it figured out, of like a reasonable system of like, okay, it's easy to get for corporations, it's easy to get if you're a private individual, the prices are reasonable. Like, why in 2021 is it a politically divisive? Like, we've sent people to the fucking moon. The moon. We've sent people there. And yet it's still like an issue? Why? Like, what is going on? I don't get it. And I know I'm not going to get it because there are people who spend their entire career studying healthcare. I don't think it's an easy issue. Like, I guess I don't mean to belittle the complexities involved in it, because the fact that people spend their entire career in one subset of it, it shows that it's like an entire Goliath of a beast to figure out. And I'm happy I don't have to figure it out, but it's obviously frustrating. Healthcare.gov also mandate dollar fine only applied to wealthy people. That's how ACA funded healthcare for lower income and poor. Nobody is fined. Sweet. So I'm not going to get fined. I just buy it off healthcare.gov. Also, why is this just not like well known? After we reform Wall Street, let's take on the healthcare sector. You know, I think we have a better shot reforming Wall Street than I do healthcare, honestly. Like, it's such a difficult problem. It's so incredibly difficult. And this is why people spend their political careers, their lobbying careers, their legal careers, their scientific careers putting in, like, I guess, difference of opinions and arguing and debating and figuring this out and figuring that out. It seems like it's a incredibly complex issue. NHS was hugely unpopular when it was introduced, not a populist political call, but 100 years later, everyone in the UK holds it in the highest regard. I'm frozen. Well, the market is starting to bend, and at first, AMC looked pretty solid, hit 30.50, was hanging out above 30. Right now, it's at 29.60. I'm hoping that it could catch itself soon because the Russell's looking strong, and so is the SPY. How are the Qs looking? Qs also strong. IWM's up 2%, the Qs are up 2%, and the SPY's up 1.5%. So the overall market, these major indices are looking kind of nice. What other major movers do we have? Let's see. Lucid at 45. So it must have had a nice gap up because intraday it just sold off. We're up 0.6%. Tesla above 1,000, 1,033. Rivian back to 115. Key level for Rivian is 115. NVIDIA popped up above 300. Yesterday it was like 297, 298. Right now 307. Robinhood looking as weak as ever. Bitcoin pushing 51,000. Crypto's looking very, very strong. Ethereum coming back. Solana at 200. Avalanche 93. Missed that dip buy at $80. I'm bummed out about that. Matic looking very strong at 247. Loopring 255. Sheeb 37. Open a high deductible insurance plan. If you do that, you have a HSA and trade inside it. Interesting. I work in healthcare. There's too much money and too many people who don't want to let go of the money. Fixing healthcare would be super tough because we need the industry, but they constantly take advantage of that need. Matt, I would recommend finding a major medical insurance policy. It should be around $100 a month with $5K to $7K deductible. Not on healthcare.gov. Just don't jump off any roofs. You now owe me 2 beers. A major medical insurance policy. Is that just something like, what's a big one? Like United Health or like Blue Cross? Like, are those like the big ones? I am not wealthy and got fined 2 years in a row because I made too much for Obamacare but didn't make enough to get health care. Oh, like that awkward in between. I also live in PA. I have UPMC individual insurance. It's around $360 a month. UPMC. UPMC. Matt, it is well known. Well known. You just didn't know. Now you do. Oh, the healthcare.gov. But some people are saying healthcare.gov is where I shouldn't be going. It's complicated, it sounds. Sounds like something that future Matt could figure out. I'll just push this problem off for him. Just don't ever get sick or hurt, problem solved. Not a hedge fund. I like that. That's some good input. Creative. Alex becoming an astronaut. Shout out. Shout out, Alex. All right, things are actually... Hang on. Do we get the updates? Where are we at? Did we get the unusual whale alerts? Let's see what kind of alerts are coming in. Let's see what kind of money-making opportunity there is. What is today's date? Oh, none yet. I think they start at 10 a.m., I believe. Yeah, 10 a.m. So we have about 12 minutes. But we're seeing some green. Green, 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 green. Matt, you just have to do your own DD, not healthcare advice. I think that's how we should. I think people should like be very proud of their, like everyone's like kind of in that own tribe. You're like, oh, I get my healthcare from Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's like Blue Cross Blue Shield, brother. Or like, I'm in Aetna. It's like, what up, Aetna sister? I think we should all be a lot more fan based around our health insurance provider, similar to sports. Synthetic health insurance. Not a hedge fund. That's what I'm here for, bro. I like that better. Just don't get sick. Put down Trey as domestic partner and get military benefits. Solid ideas. Everyone very, very creative this morning. I like it. Get the Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO. You can also get professional massages and acupuncture included. I like this idea of just becoming a domestic partner with Trey, and I'll just get the military ones. I think it could work. Wait, isn't there a movie based on that? Isn't there like a Adam Sandler, whatever his name is, like they're firemen and they're just like really good buddies and then they like fake that they're married? I feel like this has been done before. I am not a doctor and I don't provide medical advice. I do have friends in Miami though. Let's get you to the pharmacy. Oh, joke. Anyone listening? Bro, as a brother, I'll tell you a secret. What you need is 2 shots of NyQuil, 1 jar of Vicks Vapor Rub, and put half on your chest, and you'll sleep on the other half of your feet with socks on. So I need to put the Vicks on my chest and on my feet? Whoa, 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 whoa. AMC, hello. Hang on, let's get the rocket. This always gets me going. We got a little boom boom candle there. Someone's asking for the Ortex update. It's actually quite a bit higher. The estimated short interest against AMC is right now 18.6%. And then on GameStop, 12.22. So both of them from yesterday to today has increased by about 1 full percent. You know who doesn't have this problem? Your super secret boyfriend, North Korea. That's who. Is that what you want? It's pronounced Chuck and Ed. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. Not a hedge fund. You are on the ball today. You practiced. Officer Thickness. Thoughts on VIX on late Jan hedge against political correction. I don't know if there will be a political. Stonks made me do it. You're going to want to like see if there's actually is a pattern for said political correction, because in both the current presidency and the previous presidency, all I saw was that both presidents were going to tank the market, and both presidents, obviously of different political like parties, pushed the market higher. So please don't let a political bias like distort your view of what you think is going to happen with the market. Matt, when I was 27, I had a major medical for $70 and a $7K deductible. It was 4 years ago in Kansas. I sell insurance. Good luck, Matt. My advice is not free. You now also owe me 2 strawberry daiquiris. All right, we'll do that. I appreciate it. Major medical. Feels like probably an inappropriate time to ask what that even means, but I think it just means like a major medical provider. Go make a hot toddy. It'll fix you right up. Do you think Trey would rub Vicks on your chest? I think he would. Check out METX. I think he would. He's a compassionate guy. He might ask me like why I don't do it myself, and I'd have to come up with a good reason. But I think he would. He's a caring guy. METX, I'm not really seeing anyone. It gapped up, but it's going red. I'm seeing a sell-off. I just don't see buyers stepping in on this. In fact, it just hit an all-time low yesterday. Feels like kind of attempting to catch a falling knife. Two things. In a SPAC deal, how long does it take to start trading the company ASPGAMEX? A lot of the time, James, it's not like a set time. It's like when the deal officially goes through. So it's not like, oh, it's going to be always 90 days like this. It's more of like the legal paperwork signing, which can take some time. But for example, CCIV was Churchill Capital, and then it switched over to Lucid. So it was trading as CCIV for quite a bit there. And then you don't really have to do anything. Like if you own CCIV and you sit and you wait, the deal's all confirmed. They sign it. They have a date. And then one day the ticker just switches over, but you don't have to do anything particular yourself. Are you still sick or sick again? And this is still sick. You know, what's weird is I sound awful today. I think I sound awful. I don't know. Maybe I just normally sound nasally, but I actually feel better. Like my energy levels, like I know it sounds weird, but like my energy levels are higher. Like I'm not like dying all of the time. Like I'm starting to feel better. It's just like I have an absurd amount of like nasal pressure and congestion, but it's better than everything else. If you want a better explanation of healthcare, I'll DM you on Twitter. I want to be a doctor, nurse practitioner. Yes, I'm a board certified AANP. I mean, I don't know what that sounds, but that sounds official, Jeffrey. I'd love to talk. What else do we have? Bro, you need to flush the virus out. The amount of water I've been drinking is absurd. Liquid IV, I've just been chugging so much of that water. And I thought yesterday, I was like, you know what? Maybe get a little bit of energy in you. And I've decided, I don't know if I've publicly announced this, so hang on. Warning, breaking public announcement from Matthew Kors. Everyone listen. Listen. Breaking massive announcement coming from Matt Kors himself. Please listen. I've decided I'm going to become a cappuccino person. I don't know much about cappuccinos. I know that they're espresso based, but it feels like I'm at the right point in my life to make a pivot. And I'm going to pivot from becoming a coffee person to a cappuccino person. I don't know much about it. I'm new into it, but I want it publicly known that I am now a cappuccino guy. I'm not a coffee guy. I am a cappuccino guy. What does that mean? I don't know. I know some of you in the audience are going to get mad about this. You might be of the old guard of like, we're coffee. And I subscribe to you because I thought you were a coffee guy. That's fair. That's fair. And some of you who might be like, hey, I actually like cappuccinos too. I kind of like this development. But I've been a cappuccino guy for about a week now. A little bit over a week. I was at that wedding and one of the other groomsmen, I was like, oh, what do I want? He's like, you should try a cappuccino. I was like, why? He's like, I don't know. Maybe you're a cappuccino guy. And I was like, maybe I am a cappuccino guy. I don't know. So I've had a couple cappuccinos and I feel confident in making the public announcement that I am now a cappuccino guy. So me being obviously a snobby cappuccino guy, I tried to get myself a cappuccino yesterday. And there's 3 different places within walking distance of where I work from my mom's basement. And they're all capable of creating a cappuccino, except none of them were open. So am I a cappuccino guy? Yes. Am I a good cappuccino guy that knows where to get cappuccinos every single day at the appropriate times? If I'm being honest, I don't. It's been a rough start. So if there's like some sort of new cappuccino person support group where you're just like working through all of the difficulties that are related to becoming a cappuccino person, let me know. I should probably be joining. This is Ryan O'Connor. I unsubscribe. I think cappuccino, tangent, some kind of dog whistle. If so, heard. A dog whistle? No, there's no dog whistle. I've just decided I'm a cappuccino person. I don't understand the difference between aren't there like lattes and I don't even know, like mocha? No, that's a mocha latte. I just don't know much about espresso based drinks. Is there like a frittata or something with an F? I think it all has to do with the ratio of like espresso to your foam. Like I think it's just different ratios, but maybe I'm wrong. There's probably a coffee person in here or a real cappuccino person in here who is getting it pissed and like, how do you not know more about this? Americana, I guess. So yeah, right there. Mr. Casey Show, he's the one that's triggered. A cortada, not a frittata, a cortada. Folks, I'm new to it. I'm being honest. I've only been a cappuccino person for a week. Give me some time. Frittatas and omelet. You have all the hardcore cappuccino people in here who are just like, he's too new. He's too green. I'm sorry. You just give me some time. Give me a couple years and I'll know all this. Cappuccino is half espresso and half foam, approximately. Low foam, etc. options. So, apparently something about the history of cappuccinos, there was like, it's not the exact word, but it's like some very similar word about like cappuccino monks. And these monks had on robes that's like the monks were first and then cappuccinos came later. And apparently that had something to do with like the coloring of it, of like, oh, that's how you knew you had the right one, because it was like the similar color to like the monks' robes. Peppermint mocha hits the spot. You know, Brendan, you know which bit of Korea is not a cappuccino guy? I'm probably going to assume that North Korea is not a cappuccino guy. You've lost it? Yes, I've lost it. I the amount of Dayquil, Sudafed, Mucinex, zinc, vitamin D, vitamin C, and just electrolytes that are coursing through my body right now on no food is astounding, medically concerning. Go to Wawa, get a frozen mocha cappuccino with zinc and iron. I get it every morning. Amazing. Zinc, I have high iron levels. Double espresso type of guy over here. Rudolph A. How long have you been in the double espresso type of guy game? Like how long has that been for you? Eat another chip. Cappuccino and goldfish guy. Matt is bougie with his cappuccino. I'm a barista and find your lack of coffee knowledge distasteful. Unsubscribed. I understand. Well, I hope you would consider resubscribing when I finally learn more about. It's likely allergies. I do have Zysol. Just eat food. I just need not such a weak immune system. I think everyone's immune system has gotten weakened by the fact that we haven't been around germs for like a year and a half. Bro, get insurance ASAP. In 2019, I had a random collapsed lung and it left me with 5 days in the hospital and $32,000 bill. Without insurance, I would have done for life. Life happens. Be prepared. All boogie. That's an insanely unfortunate story. I'm currently arguing with Cobra. I'm like, hey, like, let's just keep the plan going. I called them yesterday, and honestly, she was super nice. If I'm not the best with customer service because like we end up all getting pissed at each other. The woman I was speaking with was so incredibly kind. Like she crushed it. I was like, hey, I completely messed up. Could you like help me? And she's like, all right, like we're going to try this and this and this. She gave me a lot of great pointers. She was awesome. So shout out to the lady that I was speaking with. She really was a helping hand. And she basically just told me what to do and we'll see how it goes. But if it doesn't go well, I'm just going to go to the open marketplace. Crush up some Airborne and sprinkle it on Cheez-Its. Tried and true method, bro. 5 shots of Americano every day. Kyle, is that healthy for your heart? 5 shots of Americano? Cobra Insurance equals run by Citadel. Make sure when you buy something with espresso shots in it, ask for ristretto shots. It's like espresso, but they extract it for longer. You might be a hot Kahlua person. You never know. Posture, brother. Posture. Have a great day. Just Bradley. Thank you. Kyle DeGroff. No. Screaming. I can tell you've already had your 5 shots of Americano this morning. Well, AMC back above 30, actually on its way to 31. We have GameStop pushing 177. How's Bitcoin looking? Bitcoin, Avalanche, Solana, Ethereum, all looking good. Don't forget to sign up for Public, pinned to the top of chat. You can also see my Public portfolio. If you just search like my name on Public, you'll see what I'm in. And then if you want to buy any of the crypto bounce, don't forget about Voyager. The code is MAT21, MAT21. Kyle DeGrove, yes. I love it. Jesus, the lack of coffee knowledge in chat is disturbing. I'll have to make a standalone like coffee education video. You want to know something really like if my previous boss saw this live stream right now, they would lose their goddamn mind. Before I decided to become a person who screams at a camera in my basement, I was a professional. At one point, this guy, he wore a button down, he wore Patagonias, he wore dark jeans, he wore slack. Wait. Actually, before I go on a tangent, the other day, someone was talking shit on me, and they meant it very seriously. They were comparing me to another like YouTuber within the space, and they're like, yeah, but at least he doesn't show his thighs on camera. Like, they were mad that I showed my thighs. If you're watching right now and I offended you when I showed you I don't remember doing it, but I bet I did do it. Like, I'm not saying I didn't do it. I'm just saying, if you were offended by me standing on my chair showing you my thighs, it's going to happen again, and you might as well leave now. But anyway, where was I going before that? I knew I didn't want to go on this tangent. Oh, I was a professional. Sorry, my brain. I was a professional. I worked in corporate America. I worked at a startup in New York City. This startup was particularly in the food and beverage industry. I was a coder, just code. I was, coders, like they're the life of the party. They're the cool kids. They're suave. They're jacked. They show up. Like, everyone knows what a coder is. Like, picture Ryan Reynolds. Picture any of the people from Magic Mike. Those are all exactly the type of the people you meet in the world of coding. Like, every single guy and girl in my class, Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, everyone from Magic Mike, pretty much the entire Marvel cast. Those are all very good depictions of what it's like being a coder. It's spot on. Like, most actors and actresses and models, they actually end up plucking from the world of computer science and programming, just because of the common aesthetic value, the common personality value, the common just general health across the board. That's very, very accurate. So anyway, there I was, coding by Chris Hemsworth, day in and day out. Chris and I we're coding. We're doing predictive modeling for the food and beverage industry. So the reason why this conversation that everyone now damn well knows that I am not by any means, coffee, espresso, cappuccino, latte, frittata expert is deeply upsetting, because my previous place of employment, it was known, like, you had to know about it. Like, so my CEO is like, knows everything you could possibly know about tea. Like, he went to tea schools over in Asia. He knows everything you needed to know about Scotch. He knows the history of Scotch, where blah, like all that stuff. And they were also really, really big into coffee. They were huge into coffee. And it was at that point in my life, 5, I showed up and I was like, yeah, I'll have a coffee. And they're like, well, what kind of coffee? I didn't even know you could have like other types of coffee. Well, I knew it. I just never had it. And they made me a drip coffee on ice. So I just basically had an iced coffee. And I was like, oh, this is an iced coffee. And then I got like lectured of why iced coffee and cold brews are completely different. I was like, oh, sorry, I didn't like mean that offensively. I just didn't know that like an iced coffee and a cold brew were completely different things. So if they heard this right now, to know that my knowledge of coffee, if anything, has actually gone the opposite way, they would be like deeply, deeply, deeply upset. So if you happen to be watching this, my apologies. But yeah, I still don't know much about coffee. We were asking for it dressed that way. You were asking for it dressed that way. Fine, be a cappuccino guy. But if you give up Cheez-Its and ducks, I'm done with you, Coors. Man, everything is green. And I know I'm sick. I know I sound like shit, but I hope you're having a great day. It's green. It's green. Money. What else? Like, we're good. We have our duck hat on. We're learning more about cappuccinos. We're breaking out of resistance. AMC's at 31. GME's at 179. IWM's perfectly coming up to its resistance. Double top there. The SPY's looking good. It is green. Things are bouncing. Momentum is building up. It is a great freaking day. Hey, Matt, Subaru guy here. Just know my 2007 Enforcer broke down again. Last time it happened, you remember, it was on March 10th, NFA, but buckle up. What's going on? I hope you're able to get that fixed expediently and for not much money. People are asking about Prague. Prague. How's Prague doing today? Down. Not having as nice of a day. Tesla is having a solid day. What else is up? Nvidia is having a good day. Someone just asked me for some of the unusual whales. Let's see what's coming in. Are we updated yet? 10 a.m.? Oh, it is 10 a.m. Someone is betting against Kathy Wood. ARKK, $75 put. ARKK. They're saying, no way, no how, this doesn't hold. That also, the date for that is January 7th. It is a $75 put. So, in a certain sense, okay, I get it. A gap fill play, 75, I would not hold it to going in the money. I would play it for a gap fill. But I would be scared to enter that position today because everything's green. Like, what if tomorrow's another absurdly green day? So I would feel, I don't know how comfortable I would be taking bearish bets today. The opposite of catching a falling knife is like catching a rocket. So even if you are a bit bearish, well, you got to wait for a moment of weakness to actually like capitalize on that. Check out PayPal chart. Looks like in the run to 200 plus easy if it can break above 193. PayPal, I believe it's PYPL. Yeah, I actually marked this as a buy when we were explaining divergence in both the RSI and MACD. So I marked 185 as a buy, and I still hold to that. You're going to get a little bit of like not a nice fill. I was calling it out at 185-ish right here. So 190 is not bad. I think if I agree with you, 193, I would then watch 200 or really 200 and 201, but I'd be interested in this gap fill back up to 226. So if you're looking for more of a medium to long-term play where you don't really have to watch it day in and day out and you're looking for a nice steady like grind, PayPal right now, solid. You can risk 179, you could risk $11, you could risk down to 171. Those are two risk points depending on how confident you do or don't feel. And then you're looking for a break of 200 and potentially this gap fill up to 226. The risk reward right now on PayPal is very nice. CFVI is crushing it. Shout out to Rumble. CFVI is crushing it. It's up 10%. Nice little pop right there. Matt, have calls on pins 38 strike January 7th. Thoughts currently up 62%. Gorilla Champ. So it's looking very solid. Has a nice green day. That was an unusual whales trade. Shout out to Unusual Whales. I'm looking if any others are coming across. None yet. The ARK one was kind of interesting. So there's none unusual whales on Unusual Whales today that I'm like in love with. For you, with pins looking strong and you're already up 62%, if it pushes 39.60 and gets to go, I personally would handle that situation by selling half of my calls at 100% gain, and then it becomes a truly riskless trade. So once again, for Pinterest, if you're playing that, a 39.60 breakout, I would try to sell half of my position for a 100% gain. And then no matter what happens, you are not losing any money on the trade whatsoever. And then you could slowly but surely kind of scale out of your remaining half if you want to sell like whatever, like 25%, or 20, like you could do whatever you want, but I would try to lock in half at 100% gain. And then no matter what happens, you're not going to lose money. People who drink only espresso have had life drained from their soul out. That's why I have 3 shots every day. Get a venti red eye from Starbucks and be healed. Matt's plastic bag. Yuck, the scotch and tea expert. He's like the guy at the gym who only has leg day. He can sod right off in North Korea. They were crazy knowledgeable about like they just knew the history of like all these crazy different things. My favorite part, the best day ever at that job was we needed to collect more data on barbecue chips. So they're like, hey, we need someone who's going to be a taste tester. like a blind study taste tester. And I was like, oh, what are we doing today? And they're like, barbecue chips. I'm like, you're saying you're going to pay me to sit here all day and tell you my favorite barbecue chips? And they're like, yeah, pretty much. And I was like, yeah, sign me up. Let's do it. It wasn't an all-day endeavor, but it was a good half-day endeavor. So for half a day, I was paid in the fiat currency, USD, to explain why I do or don't like a myriad of different barbecue chips. And they had them all there. Like, I just had plates and plates of barbecue chips. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. This is how he started his thickness. Yeah. My body, it's just a write-off from my job. I'm just a barbecue taste tester. Here come the shorts. Well, let's see how much they hold. Things are all kind of turning in unison. Is the market turning with that? A little bit of a guy. Coffee just hit a 52-week high. Did it actually? Coffee's been like super high. Coffee. You know what's funny is coffee actually legit. Well, it was a 52-week high. It hit a 52-week high this morning. Here's the commodities contract, but not an all-time high. Apparently something happened with coffee in the middle of 2011. That's when coffee was at its highest. Man, what a trade. What a good trade it would have been to get in coffee right here at 210. Oh, you miss them. You can't make them all. You can't make them all. I know you don't mess with penny stocks, but can you check SBM for short interest? Can't find reliable info. Yeah, I'll look it up for you really quick on Ortex. SBM. A Biochem Corp. Oh, wait. That's not what you asked, though. Sirona. So, wait. I see this on the Canadian market. TSXV. Is that the right one? Yeah. So, SBM, the Sirona Biochem, the only place I'm seeing it listed is on TSXV, which I believe is Canadian. And if I look up the shorts, yeah, because it's on that market, Ortex, I guess, doesn't have clear data on it. And also be careful with like kind of short squeeze plays on penny stocks. That stuff can get absolutely wild. Coach Matt, I saw coffee going up. I bought 6 months worth of coffee and stashed it under the bar. Shout out. Now I just need to convert you over to a cappuccino guy. I think there's going to be a lot of people who are like, is Matt now a cappuccino shill? Folks, I am being paid off so much money by the big cappuccino industry. It was crazy. There I was in the middle of the night, and they found me in Texas. I was sleeping, and I was awoken by a big jostle, and they put a bag over my head, threw me in a van, and they got me somewhere in Texas. I'm in the middle of the desert in Texas, and it's all these Italian guys and monks, and they're like, we represent the big cappuccino industry, and you are now going to speak for us. And I was like, okay, I don't know anything about cappuccinos, but based on the weirdness of this interaction, I feel like I should just say yes. I was like, what's like my sponsorship rate going to be? And they're like, every time you say the word cappuccino, we will pay you $1 million. I was like, all right, like that's a little bit lower than like my green tea industry rate or my frog industry rate. But you guys seem, I don't know, a little mad. Like you woke me up in the middle of the night, but I guess I begrudgingly accepted the deal to get paid $1 million for every single time that I say cappuccino. Like I said, below my normal rate, but it's close enough. And they were angry that I was like, I guess I should just say yes. So I want that out there before anyone's like, is Matt now shilling for the cappuccino industry? Folks, I'm going to shill it until kingdom come because I get paid a milli every single time I say it. That was the stock on TSX. Thanks, Matt. Shout out. Need to ditch the Corolla and buy a Suzuki cappuccino if you want to be a real cappuccino guy. I get too much money from the Corolla industry, though, to ditch my Corolla. The amount of money that I'm just getting in these sponsorships between Corolla, the big green tea industry, the fake shamrock, the five leaf shamrock industry. Just, I have a lot of people that I need to keep shilling for. Pro tip, not sure how random it is, but Public just gave me $5 of Meta ETF just for looking at the app. Shout out, Joe. Yeah, if you guys sign up for Public, it's pinned to the top of the chat. I did like a whole breakdown of payment for order flow, but there's no payment for order flow. There's no market makers. They do share lending. Like, I'm trying to be as clear about that as I possibly can be. Yes, they do share lending, but you can turn that off. There's like an automated like contact chat bot system, and you say, hey, don't lend out my shares. And they say, okay. So Public, the share lending, turn that off. Yes, obviously turn it off. And, well, and I guess unless you want those shares lent, I guess if you want those interest payments, you can keep yours on. But it's not hard to turn it off whatsoever. And they also don't have options trading. So if you're an options trader, Public's not going to be for you. But yeah, no payment for order flow, no market makers. It's free to sign up, free trading, and you can get up to $70 of stock when you start trading on it. Do they pay you for share lending? That's the thing that you are, yes, automatically. Like, I guess that is the default, that your share lending is automatically turned on when you create it, but it's easy to turn it off. Public story, did a chat to remove share lending, and just because they gave me $5 of Microsoft. Matt, you trade Charles Payne should have a taster's choice moment post-squeeze while staring at Gasparino. What's going on, Irish? And just so you know, I got those things that you sent me about like Webull through Apex. Just I wanted to let you know that I got those messages. Does Public only go to lit exchanges? 75% of Public's trades go to a lit exchange, and the remainder of that, the remainder 25%, they only go off exchange to not market makers, but ATSs if there's a better price, because that's actually a regulatory duty. They can't just send everything to a lit exchange if they know they can get you a better price somewhere else, which is kind of impressive. And I went into much further detail in yesterday's afternoon stream with this. The fact that they can get you the best price 75% of the time on a lit exchange, it completely upends what market makers and mainstream media has been telling us about, I guess, the advent of payment for order flow and best execution and all that stuff. The fact that they are doing no payment for order flow, 75% of their trades are best executed on a lit exchange, and the only time it goes off lit exchange if there's a material price improvement, which is very similar to the Canadian trade at system. They're pulling off these numbers in the current environment. Imagine what they would do without this environment. If the environment were improved, the numbers would just go higher and higher and higher. It's crazy. Did you see the Zero Hedge tweet yesterday about short squeeze and face ripping? What's that mean? Let me look that up for you. Zero Hedge. I didn't see the tweet. I don't recall it off the top of my head, but let me look into it. Zero Hedge is a very big Twitter account, 1.1 million followers, always tweeting about stock stuff. Actually tweeting too much, though. How would I find this? At Zero Hedge. Let me search advanced. We want to get the account Zero Hedge and short. 12 hours ago. Brace for face-ripping short squeeze. Largest 10-day net selling in U.S. equities since April 20th. Hedge funds continued to reduce net exposure through shorts. Short sales outpacing long buys 4.5 to 1. Short sales and the lesser extent long sales 9 to 1. So what this is referring to, and I'll just show everyone to it. This is by Zero Hedge. He posted it at almost 10 p.m. last night, about 12 hours ago. So according to Goldman Sachs, largest 10-day net selling in U.S. equity since April 20, and the hedge funds continue to reduce net exposure through shorts, as in the shorts are loading up, as in apparently over the past 10 days. Wow. So this isn't just, obviously, this is way beyond AMC and GME. This is the whole market, that you might have an interesting, market short squeeze bubble scenario. Short sales to a lesser extent, short sales outpacing long buys 4.5 to 1. The GS Prime book net sold for a third straight day. Wow. That is insane. That's so much shorting going on. Well, all of those new shorts are definitely feeling the pain today. How do I feel about BBIG? How's that one been doing? As of now, so quite a while ago, it was a talk, but through the weakness, it should have hit your risk at some point. But for now, where did it actually bounce? So it seems like it's just trying its best. $2, somewhere between $2 and $2.50. It's trying to find support. If you were new to BBIG, just please have a well-defined risk. If you want to risk the most recent relative low, which is 241, so if you're okay with risking 60 cents, okay, have at it. You're looking for the breakout of the key psychological and technical level at 3, and then you're looking for a gap fill at 377. To me, we know that this has moved in the past and it can move, but the only thing with it is, and we see this in various equities, is I think people get into it and they just end up holding for way, way too long. So please respect, whatever your risk is, respect your risk. If it hits your risk point, you got to get out. For me, I have no BBIG position. If I did, I would risk yesterday's low, which 60 cents, $3, 20% risk. I don't know how much I really like it. It's kind of a big risk percentage. I do see some upside to 377, and of course, if it gets going above that, that's a different story. But also, ever since September 8th, I'm just not seeing buyers step in. It's continually making lower highs, lower lows. I just don't know where the BBIG buyers are. Cup and handle on AMC. So the cup and handle was right here. The handle exploded around 10:04. We got that nice push all the way up to 31.55. Cup handle. You could also call it an inverse head and shoulders. Shoulder, head, shoulder. You could call it like a wedge breakout. I mean, a lot of these times you're going to see overlapping, I guess in this scenario, bullish technical structures, and sometimes you see overlapping bearish technical structures. None of them are particularly more right than the other. All of those are true. Cup and handle, inverse head and shoulders, wedge, you could call them what they want. And then from there, we have this nice channel upward, probably most closely resembling probably actually kind of a bear channel, a bear flag type of a deal. And then from there, it couldn't hold at 31.20, and we're now seeing a little bit of a reversion. So let's see if this previous resistance around 30.50 now becomes support. Rejection, 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 breakout, consolidation, all around 30.50. Would love to see AMC collect itself there and base. And then even, honestly, even if it hung out there and made a nice base for an hour or two, I wouldn't complain at all, because at that nice base, we're accepting AMC above $30, and then that gives us the potential to really grind up to the upside in the remaining 2 or 3 hours of market. GameStop was range bound at 175, quick explosion all the way up to 182, came down, and look at this, resistance turned into support right here at 176, rejected, breakout level, but now it going from resistance to support. So let's see if 176 can hold. Would love to see this breakout of 178. NVIDIA strong, very strong. Actually, I wrote down a name, Don Bayer. I want to look this guy up for all of us. Don Bayer. Don. Why are there two of them? The Honorable Bayer. I don't know which one. Let's click on the first one. How do you see the most recent? Maybe I need the Honorable one. December. Yeah, hang on. Let me go check if it seems like he's in here twice. Don. So this guy was messing around with some NVIDIA. I don't know why it's not coming up. Like, it seems like the discrepancy is the fact that he's in the database 2 different times. Whatever. I'll show you a different way of what I am referring to. Let me just find it. Let me just find it very, very quickly. Unusual Whales, the Twitter account, was pointing it out. And I just thought, since we talk about it with Pelosi so much, that this would be of interest to all of us. Justin, Twitter acquires messaging service Quill. What else do we have? E. Warren wants complete info on Federal Reserve trading. So Elizabeth Warren desiring that. And I think all of us have the right to ask for that. Let me just find you those weird NVIDIA trades from some of our favorite politicians. Where are you? I find you. S&P warns Evergrande default is inevitable. So it sounds like Evergrande will be defaulting, but it sounds like that issue is somewhat contained. I don't think it'll be dragging the entire market with it. Earlier, proposed legislation that would ban the use of cryptocurrencies as a method of payment in India also seeks to make those infringe on that law subject to arrest without a warrant and being held without bail. Apparently Yellen, inflation is the concern of the day. Here we go. Here's what I'm looking for. Don Bayer sold up to $15,000 worth of NVIDIA stock on November 26, 2021, just before the FTC sued NVIDIA to block their $40 billion semiconductor chip manager with ARM, which would have been the biggest deal in the entire semiconductor world. The FTC stopped that, and that was in late November, right around here. But I feel like they still ended up making a bad decision on that sell. It led to kind of this weirdness when we dropped to 280. So the ARM deal, but then plus the overall market being a little bit wonky. So they locked in late. That was a good fill, but I'm seeing some strength in NVIDIA right now. I own NVIDIA in my long-term account. I'm not actively trading it. I think NVIDIA, if you're looking for a quick trade, you could risk 288, you could risk 280, you could go long on it, you could get some calls, maybe play it up to 320, 333, or you could just play this intraday breakout and look for a quick 5, 8, 10% pop. But with it, if you go that options route, give yourself enough time. Do not play the weeklies. They might be a little bit more expensive, but things that are a little bit more expensive, you're going to end up paying for a little bit more protection. But even intraday, it looks like NVIDIA is about to do something. I think this is a good short, medium, and long-term play, honestly, on NVIDIA. I'm just in it in terms of a long-term. It's in my retirement account, but and I actually have no plans to actively trade it. Do I have any plans to actively trade it? Let me see what's going on with my account. Let me see. I guess I could. Do I want to play the breakout on NVIDIA? Let me see what else unusual Wales has going on. So before ARK was getting puts, but now it's actually getting some calls on it. NVIDIA, how would I play this? So I like the chart. I like the strength. I see what's going on in the overall market. The Qs are bouncing. Everything's going green. So in NVIDIA, here's how I would do it. And I'll let you know when my order actually gets in. I would be very hyper specific to an exit plan. I would not try to get greedy with it. Definitely not this week's. I'm looking at December 17th. Do I like it, or are they too costly? So the 325s are trading at 680 by 690 right now. 680 by 690. What else? What other kind of flow do we have going on? I'll take that. The 325s for December 17th. All right. I think you guys all front ran me a little bit. I did not get my fill. Definitely not getting my fill. All right. I need to modify my order. All right. So yeah, I just got my fill for $7 flat. So here's the plan. I kind of like doing this to explain my entire thought process of what's going on. So what I'm seeing I like to think of the general market. What kind of like regime are we currently in? The overall market, it's pushing. Check out SPY, gap up, pushing green. Looks like it wants to run back up to just above 470. So about $2 more to go on that. On the Qs, I'm very much thinking it's going to tap 400. We're right now at 396, 397, so about $3 more to go on that. So the SPY and the Qs is the group that NVIDIA is going to be in. NVIDIA, the biggest semiconductor company, my favorite semiconductor company. So overall, it seems like we have some tailwinds supporting us on this play because we see that the market has been selling off in both the Qs, but now we're finally bouncing. So in the higher picture, we have a certain sense of reversion that's going on. I like that. I like that a lot. This one wouldn't pertain to IWM because NVIDIA is not in IWM. So yes, we can check out NVIDIA specifically. It was down, found support once again around 290. This one was a little bit of an overreaction, but buyers, the dip was bought. It was obviously bought, and we're seeing this push. And in reality, maybe we could see this better on like a 2-hour chart. I'm kind of liking this zone 324. That's kind of a zone of interest to me just because I see so much rejection, some consolidation, or rejection, consolidation, or rejection. So it seems like if we can get over this 319 hump, the real question is 324. So I'm kind of targeting how is NVIDIA going to react to 324. It can be beneficial to check out how its competitors are doing. How's the sector doing? Right here, we have it AMD, obviously in the same realm. It's another semiconductor, up 3.5%. INTC, which is what's Intel's? Intel. TC. I don't know why I typed that in wrong. So this is also up 4%. And then you have NVIDIA, which is up 5.5%. So it seems like the SPY's looking good. Let's get a little bit more specific. The Qs are also looking good, the more tech-heavy sector. So overall market, green. Tech sector, green. Now let's get specific to the semiconductors. 3 of the biggest ones, NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel are also all green. NVIDIA is leading the pack, so I like that. And then if we get hyper specific to the time, let's go to the 3 minute here. It's just been on this rip. Obviously, the best opportunity to get in here, I should have been paying attention, was at 310. This, in my humble opinion, was the time to get in. So I'm chasing to a little bit, and the fact that I realize that I'm chasing to a certain degree tells me that I need to give myself more time. If I knew I just wanted to be in it for a day trade to lock in 5, 8, 10%, something like that, maybe I would have played the weeklies. That would have expired, whatever, I don't know, the 10th or something. But because I'm like, okay, I need a little bit more time, I chased to the tune of $6, but I still like that upside potential all the way up to 324. I gave myself more time by giving myself next week's, the December monthlies. One of the biggest problems I'm seeing in just like questions and commentary and confusion of where that all relies is a lot of people, it's coming back to not giving themselves enough time when it comes to options. So with it, this is I wouldn't say it's the highest risk bet, but it's a little bit more risky because we don't know really what's going on with like some of the things that have previously pushed the market down. But with this, I feel very confident that as long as you're not overly greedy right now, NVIDIA's trading at 317. The play that I'm in, I'm already up 7%. If you're not overly greedy and there's a concept that every single trade you have to knock out of the park. Like you just have to. I don't really agree with that. I think with this, especially if you're trying to, like, let's say you have like a $5,000 account, a $10,000 account, and you're battling with pattern day trading and you're trying to get your account up to that $25,000 level, consistently taking 10% gains will get you there faster than you would ever suspect. A nice 10% gain time and time again, and you shouldn't be betting your whole account. Like, you should be properly divvying it up and identifying, okay, like, do you want to do a swing trade? Do you want to do a quick day trade? Because with day trades, you're going to be like, what's your like, how many day trades have you already done in the rolling past 5 days? There are things to consider, but don't look at it in the way of like, oh, okay, because of the rules that are pushed upon you, that you now have to swing for the fence on all of these. That's okay. If you're battling pattern day trading, that just means go for 3 of these little bunts. It's going to add up. It might take you a couple weeks. It might take you a couple months. But trust me, your account will go above 25,000, and then you can take that shackle off. If anything, it just kind of ensures in the meantime that you're only going for like higher quality trades. I've been there myself. Some of my accounts are above 25K right now. Some of my accounts are below. Depends on the account that I'm in. But with it, don't let it like pressure you into situations where you don't know if you necessarily want to be in the trade or not. And I think my biggest tip that I could give all of you is, if you have no more day trades, I don't think it's the best to be getting into kind of these like weekly lotto YOLO calls, especially early on. If you're like, oh, okay, I like how it ended, I want to get in at 358 and swing it over till tomorrow. Okay, I get that. But if you have no day trades and you're doing it early in the morning, especially when it's higher risk and it's expiring that weekend or something along those lines, folks, you are playing with fire. You might get lucky, but it's just a matter of time before you get horrifically burned with that type of a play. So please, if you have no more day trades, you got to be incredibly careful. Don't get yourself into a situation that you like actually can't get yourself out of because of the archaic rules of pattern day trading. Swing trading is the way for small accounts. I kind of agree with that. Like, continually getting nice 5, 10, 15% gains over and over and over. And you're kind of like honing your craft on like the type of plays that work for you. So, for example, that NVIDIA play right now, I got in at $7 and it's up 12%. I called it all out in real time. I gave you my reasoning in real time. That's a good gain to lock in. You are already up 12% on some dude who's wearing a duck rain hat in his basement. Like, don't get greedy with that. Don't act like I'm like some messiah Warren Buffett who just told you the best stock that's about to explode over the next couple of weeks. It's up 12%. If you bet $1,000, you're up 120. That's more than what? Like the minimum wage for a day's worth of work from a crazy dude who may have taken way too much Dayquil this morning wearing a rain hat inside in his basement. At a certain point, you have to realize like kind of the insanity of a situation and just don't let that greed overcome like a reasonable just lock in and be like, oh, wow, I got lucky on that. That type of a deal. Sometimes we have to be a little bit like realistic about the situation. I don't know why you give this type of golden information for free, but God bless you. Thanks for looking out for the little guy. Oh, I do it because I love it. Man, I get so stoked when I see everyone's success. Like once in a while, like I'll spend more time talking about these types of trades in the Moon Gang Discord. And like, then I'll hear about the trades that they're doing and how they're looking at it. And as much as I'm teaching them, they're teaching me. And it makes me so excited when they're like, oh, I just made like X amount of money, X percentage gain on like this trade. And it's so much fun to me. I like it. I like it. So basically, you're saying that you sold AMC because you are not greedy. What are you talking about? What have I possibly said? Cyber Hour, I very much need you to explain the mental gymnastics you just went through of me explaining an NVIDIA trade. How did you connect that to me saying I sold AMC? Am I taking crazy pills? What did I possibly... What? Oh, man. I don't get that. Like, I very much need to know your mental process. So, I hear you're talking about NVIDIA. That means you sold your AMC. What? No. I am long on AMC. I am long on GME. But beyond that, why does it matter? You can go on public right now and see that I have AMC and GME. These people. Sorry, just made how many ever people. What percentage is it up right now? It's up 10%. 10%. That's a solid trade. He's comparing pizza to oranges. Oh, man. Thoughts on Bumble? Bumble. Fun fact, the lady who made Bumble, not only one of the world's youngest female billionaires, but one of the youngest billionaires straight up. The only reason I know that is actually because recently with the sell-off, she became not a billionaire. So just like 900 million. But it seems like it's kind of like, I mean, it just hit an all-time low yesterday. So, I mean, you could risk this gap fill. You could risk the low, or I guess 2 days ago. Sorry, I misspoke. You could risk $30 basically. Are you okay with risking $6 for the potential of, at first you're looking for the breakout of 39, and then you're looking for the gap fill to 46.75? The risk reward, I guess it's there. It's $10. So it's 10 to 6, 5 to 3. So it's not like a 2-to-1 setup. It's almost a 2-to-1. I prefer higher than 2-to-1 in terms of risk reward. Like I said, you're risking 6 for the potential of 10. That's 10 to 6, 5 to 3. It's not even 2-to-1. So maybe a higher risk reward setup would be better. But it is bouncing. Like you're buying it on like serious weakness. So maybe you could get some sort of reversion. From a fundamental standpoint, I don't know much about Bumble. I don't know if it's growing at a nice rate. I don't know how their advertisers are doing. I don't know their profit per user. I don't know much about its fundamentals. So like I would want to dive into that. But from a purely technical setup, I see kind of a play there. Not the best play, but not the worst play. Only 900 million. Ha, what a bum. As a single male, Bumble is trash. AI bots, not a good business model. Hinge ever goes public. That's the one. So I'm curious, for people in here, let's do this a little bit like anecdotal. What is your favorite dating application? eHarmony, Bumble, Hinge, Tinder. Out of all the things that you could use, what is your favorite one? I'm just curious. We have a swath of 8,000 people, and maybe we'll know from just like pure popularity of which one is the one to be in. Hinge, Tinder, Bumble, Church, Farmers Only. Farmers Only counts. But I feel like if I said that, people would just say it as a joke and we wouldn't get that. All right, already so many people are saying Farmers Only. All right. We know you're not on Farmers Only. I know you're not on Farmers Only because right now there's no chance that I have this many farmers at 11 in the morning watching me. They would definitely be out working right now. My local bar. Walmart, Church, Tinder, Coffee Meets Bagel. Someone said Grindr, Christian Mingle. I feel like you guys maybe are at the point of not giving me legitimate answers, though. Craigslist. I've seen some super interesting postings on Craigslist. YouTube chat. Farmers Only. Trey's Picks. You meet people in Trey's Picks. Matt's live stream chat. I hear there's a lot of matchmaking going on in both Rumble and Twitch. So I feel like the YouTube crowd's a little bit more like, all right, like what's going on with the market, but lots of matchmaking happening in both Twitch and Rumble. Yeah, seeing lots of matchmaking. Actually, I feel like the matchmaking is happening in Twitch. Rumble's more of like the serious, astute observers. So we have matchmaking going on in one, serious, astute observers in another, and then a full-on party related to cappuccinos in the other one. Amish swingers, crotch swap, Amazon reviews, the dark web, World of Warcraft, the Rico review, MySpace. Yeah, we're not. No longer getting valid data. RuneScape. It happens. It happens. It happens. All right. So with the NVIDIA one, with that plus 10% gain, it's barely positive now if you're still somehow hanging on. But like when it goes up 10% like that, I mean, it's 10%. That's nice. Club Penguin, Toys R Us, divorce filings, AOL. Sir, this is a Wendy's. But yeah, bada bing, bada boom, folks. 10%, easy peasy lemon squeezies. Wrench saying 3125 resistance, we break and run. 3125. All right, he must have come up with that on an intraday. 3125. Oh, he's calling out some intraday. I agree with that. I might move it a little bit higher, but in the most general sense, I definitely 3125. I agree with them. I think that's a pretty good call. So once again, to my understanding, I'm not seeing that level on a daily chart. I'm definitely seeing that on an intraday chart. But overall, it's sold off. It caught itself. Oh, wait. No, he is. He is looking at this level. No, this is a really good call. I 100%. I guess he called out 3125. I would be like, roughly that region. None of these things are really ever to like the specific cent. It's not quite how it works. It's more so of the region. But these low 31s on the daily, I'm seeing 3122. On the intraday, 3116, 24. So he's picking 25 most likely to kind of just encompass all of that. I agree. I think we could see a nice push. If we get above that, hold out above it, we could get hopefully a nice reversion all the way back up to 34.50. Someone said, Trey is your only chance at love. He still holds Prague. Chill out. I still do own Prague, and you could see that. Just go to public. Facebook Marketplace for wedding dresses and rings. Duh. SouthAmericanCuba.com, married for 11 years. I wonder which one of these are actually public as of now, like these trading or these dating platforms. I don't know if any of them have like public exposure. What levels? On AMC, we're just basically look for AMC to get above 31.25. I think it's the best way to sum it up because it's scattered between like 31, 16, 17, 20, 22. Like just 31.25, you're going to be getting above some resistance. So it tried to get above it previously at like around 10:15 this morning, couldn't hold it and got smacked down. So it was kind of a fake out breakout. You're looking for it to get above 31.20, 25 to break and hold. Facebook divorce group support. I will not chill out, damn it. GameStop earnings are tomorrow, just so everyone knows. GME, Wednesday, December 8th. Folks, my brain is fried. Fried. Can you look at ARDX? I wrote it down on Friday. ARDX. So it's a biotech pharma play. When you see big crashes like this, they lost a drug, or maybe they're being investigated, or maybe the FDA like disapproved something. Got some excitement, then seeing some weakness. There are many penny stock traders that when they see this, they wait for this like structure, some like where the ball starts to look heavy. They see some red days, and that's when a lot of penny stock traders come in and start to short it. So I'd be a little scared there, but they also could get squeezed if there's momentum. As of now, not having a position on ARDX, it seems like a very tough trade. If you're already in it, I would very much be using $1.30 as my risk if you're already in the play. But if you're not in it, it just seems like a tough trade. It seems like a very difficult trade. Bro, I smiled when I saw that duck hat. When Matt is happy, the people are happy. Shout out. Wish company going profit. Now check the Wish stock. What do you think is the meme stock? I don't really consider Wish to be a meme stock. I know it got seriously hit before and on this gap down. And then I was excited. I was like, okay, if it can get above 785, maybe we'll get the gap fill. Obviously didn't happen. We got an additional breakdown. Then we kind of had a wash, rinse, repeat scenario where it tried to come back up. And it couldn't hold, and then it got hit again. Just made an all-time low at 311, trying to show some strength right now. You're looking for the breakout of 4. It is buying on weakness, but what's crazy is ever since February of 2021, pretty much all year, all it's shown is weakness. We haven't made a new relative high ever. Lower, the same, down. So you have to kind of look into what's going on. Like fundamentally, this company must just be getting rocked because all it's doing is selling off. But even, I guess, without looking at that, just the chance of a reversion play, getting in at here, like, do I think that you can make some percentage? Yeah. Would I, at this point, be like, oh, okay, like, we're going to ride this back up to 9. We're going to ride this back up to 24. I don't know, because I would question that because I want to know what's going on with the company and why it's been getting rocked so much in general. Can you take a look at BBIG? I have done well with it now. Own 5,000 shares at $6 and was expecting to take the year-end loss. Vinny, so we did previously check out BBIG. It's showing some strength now. It's as simple as like the risk point is just pretty much $2.40. Like it's same thing kind of as Wish for quite a period of time. Not as much time as Wish. It's just lower highs. Like it's clearly declining. You got in at 6. Honestly, if I were you, I probably would have been stomped out when we broke this low of 466. So I probably would have been stomped out at the start of November for me personally. But if you were to re-enter now, which I know you're not, you're already in at 6. I'm seeing some buyers. They're stepping up. If this can get above 3, I would then watch 377, and then you're watching $4. So maybe you can get lucky. Like I think you're at the point of like you're rolling the die and seeing how it plays out for you. To be holding on to that for that long. I do see some buyers, so maybe it could develop some momentum. I don't think the play's like done for you whatsoever. It's just your back's also against the clock, because if you're trying to do it this year, you have about 20 calendar days left. Potential, but you're gonna have to definitely like thread the eye of a needle on this one. Breaking: scientists find stealth version of unicorn not identifiable via PCR or low or lat flow test. Is that true? There's a version that like the test is just not showing. That's kind of crazy. I'm optimistically hoping it's not true. What is the most important step for a new investor to make? Can you answer this question for my journalism assignment? What is the most important step for a new investor to make? I would say the most important step, if I had to boil it down, for an investor, do your research. Do your research. Know what you're talking about. I would not leave it up to Facebook post, Reddit post, Twitter post. That could be a good starting point. Even YouTube videos. Do your own research so you know why you're in the play. You should not be in the play because of someone else. Like maybe they presented information to you that you find particularly interesting. But do your research. You have to know why you're in the play. You're in it for you, and you have to be confident in your own reasoning. All right. So I'm still kind of watching NVIDIA here. Curious if it's going to get up to 324, which might not happen today because it's already up 5%. But just in general, I'm very much liking the strength that I'm seeing both in NVIDIA, but also in the Qs. The Qs, I think, can go up to 400, and NVIDIA, I would love to see that test at 324. The Qs are actually looking strong right now at 397. We have AMC building up a nice pattern of higher lows. It's at 30.84 right now. Let's see a test of 31. Hopefully a breakout of 31.25. GameStop kind of weak at 175, not holding as well as AMC did. It shot up, came down, and we're at that same support level of 174. 175, obviously key psychological level. So let's see if this can actually base here and get going. How is Prague doing? 277. Prague waking up a little bit. Actually, speak of the devil. Look for Prague to get above 285. 285. Overall, folks, it's a green day. It's a green day. If you chose to do this NVIDIA thing, don't get greedy with it. At one point, you were already up 10%. Do not get greedy. Don't think that every play is some crazy 100, 500, 1,000% gain. I think sometimes on these plays, you have to be like a little bit more reasonable about like what is or isn't going on. This is it for the morning stream. I will be back for Power Hour at 3 p.m. ET, so in about 4 hours. As always, I greatly appreciate all of the support. Thank you. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Thanks for everyone who hit that like button. That type of engagement really helps me out. Shout out to the Twitch crowd. Shout out to all the new followers. What's going on? Man, Twitch is always having a good time. And shout out to everyone on Rumble. I appreciate all of you across the board. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll catch you in a couple hours. And as always, from me and Chair, best of luck in the markets.